The terrain up here varies quite a bit. We have lots of granite, lots of rocks which we have to climb our way up, changes to muddy deep holes of water and the occasional sand climb. So tyre pressures a little bit lower certainly make traversing all the obstacles a lot easier. We're now coming towards the end of the trip at West Talbot End, which we've got one more hill climb to have a go at, and then we'll pump the tyres up and start heading home. It's a really good place to test your skills and push the limits of your vehicle and even yourself for that matter, but you do have to be careful. These tracks are pretty dangerous, as you'll see in the footage. We've more than one occasion lifted wheels off the ground. We've managed to pop a tyre off the rim. It was kind of handy to have four-wheel drive TV playing in Perth now. We only recently watched an episode of Danny having a few problems with his 80 series, popping the tyre off the bead a number of times. Watching him ream out the tyre in the mud certainly made our life a little bit easier. And of course with Simon's guidance in the background sort of pointing out what we should and shouldn't do. It's certainly easier to reseat the bead than it is to change a tyre. Nobody likes changing a tyre. As this track's so close to Perth, it's advisable to keep an eye out of what's coming from both directions. Some of the hills are a bit blind at the top and you can't see cars coming over the top. Especially on a day like today, it does see a lot of traffic. So be mindful of other people using the track and steer clear of any obstacles. If you're not in your car, park your car to the side so everyone else has an opportunity to get past. As we saw today, we passed a number of groups.
Really enjoyed myself here today at the Mundaring power lines. It's good to have Simon here from Four-Wheel Drive TV. My car's improved quite a fair bit since my last trip with Simon. Bit of carnage today, but nothing that we can't fix. Looking forward to tricking up the car even more.
The four vehicles we've got are all fairly different. Mine and the Jeep are fairly similar in that they're short wheelbase with coils.
My Jeep performed really well, even though it hasn't got lockers, so it kept up with the rest of them, so quite happy the way the day went.
And you've got Mikey, a long wheelbase with coils, and you've got Damon with his Navara ute with leaf springs.
Had a good day, bit of damage on the cars. Wasn't too happy with the old Navara, couldn't get up some of the stuff that the patrols up could, but yeah, it was alright, kept up.
It's interesting to see how differently each car handles each obstacle during the course of the day. The independent front suspension on Damon's car certainly hinders him a little bit with dropping into the holes, and lack of traction means he has to try that little bit harder or let his tyres down that little bit more to get through. The slippery clay is kind of a challenge if you've only got all-terrain tyres. Mikey and I have got muddies on the car, and I think Damo's got them on his car now too for this trip. So it certainly makes it a lot easier when you've got the right gear. Shouldn't take anything away from Yogi with his Jeep. He's only got all-terrains, but his car certainly hasn't struggled much today. It's got through everything that we've been through so far. I guess the beauty of this area is that you don't have to have an extreme forward drive to have a good time. One of the groups we passed today had a standard 120 Prado, which obviously wasn't doing the really hard stuff, but he was doing the limits of its capability in standard form, and he was having a great time. So just because the footage that you've seen today has been fairly rough and rugged and we've done a little bit of damage, that's because we choose the difficult line. But if you decide to come up and want to have a bit of a play, get yourself and a couple of friends to come up, make sure that you've got the correct recovery gear and recovery points. The tow points on most standard cars are not recovery points. If you have to do a decent recovering off a tow point off the front or the rear of the vehicle, then you're liable to have a strap through the windscreen of either the towing or the recovered vehicle.
Mundaring, it's not too bad. Got a lot of tracks you can go around. You've got pretty much beginners up to the high-tech stuff, muddy, dry in sections, so it's good. Nice and close to Perth, so it doesn't take long to get here, and it's got plenty to offer.
We had a great day out today. It was a really good trip, and thanks to Simon from Four-Wheel Drive TV. All the cars went really well today. Not too much damage, nothing that's not fixable.
I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen today for the rest of Australia and New Zealand. It's a bit different to where you guys are, I guess. Not quite as much rain, but it's a completely different terrain to the rest of the country. It's not just for West Australians to enjoy, so if you're in WA on a trip, then pop in and hook up with one of the local four-wheel drive clubs, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to take you out and show you the beautiful southwest, as you'll see in our Pemberton trip, and of course today, which is really close to Perth. And you can try as hard as you want, or you can take it as easy as you want. It turns out either way, it's a great day. I'm Jeff from Ultimate Four-Wheel Drive. Stay safe on the tracks.